Welcome to the Global Wellness HQ family of podcasts. We are your international headquarters for resources and ideas and insight in relation to the 9 elements of holistic wellness. Join us as we interview local and international wellness experts and learn how you can implement and improve one element or dimension of wellness at a time. Our experts will share their practical tips on wellness in one of these core areas: emotional, intellectual, occupational, physical, environmental, financial, spiritual, social, or habitual. We created our family of podcasts as a resource for anyone who is looking to integrate the 9 elements of holistic wellness into their daily lives. Welcome to the show. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cashflow Club. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about what I call the pointless one-to-one meeting. And for the record, I'm a big advocate. I love networking. I can network all day long. I love meeting new people. I love connecting people. One of the things I don't love is the time that can be wasted. So, I'm going to talk about networking as a path to success. And I truly do believe that networking done well is a gateway to opportunities, it's open to growth. Networking done well is amazing. However, networking done badly is a colossal waste of time, energy, attention, and money. So I'm going to share some insights. Hopefully, it'll guide you, help you foster a better mindset towards networking. But most of all, I want to say if you're new to networking, take the time to learn how to do it. Otherwise, you're going to waste hours and hours of your time. You're going to come back a year from now and say networking doesn't work. So I beg to differ. My business is 100% referral based. I get all my clients through networking. I don't pay a dime in marketing. So instead, I pay to my referral partners, I pay out to my network, or if they're in a position where they can't take a referral, I pay to a charity on their behalf. So this is how I grow my business, and I believe it's a very effective way. So if you're new to networking, you might be very enthusiastic, but you're going to waste a lot of time and energy. So I've seen people, they'll go to every networking event in their city, live in person, what have you. They go once and then they never come back and they say, see, networking doesn't work. So honestly, I don't know what to call that activity you're doing. It is not networking proper. So I just want to get that out of the way. But basically, most networking conversations with people who are amateurs is, hey, I sell widgets. How many would you like? Oh, I don't need widgets. Well, I don't have any use to talk to you. I'm going to move. So that is transactional networking. I don't do that. So the key I will give you this gift, and I've heard this from many other networkers besides myself, is if you're going to take the time to network, take the time to network well. So my number one tip is always have a purpose and a plan and a direction. Don't just try to hope for the best and do a bunch of things and hope it works. Have a plan. So we don't want to waste your time and we don't want you wasting other people's time. So I will talk about the standard 1 hour get to know you meeting. And I don't know where this comes from. Somewhere on the planet, there's a stone tablet from ancient times saying, Thou shalt network 1 to 1, and that meeting shall be 1 hour in length. Um, that doesn't work for me. And the reason is I'm pretty quick. With about 5 questions, I can identify very quickly, are you somebody that my network needs to know? Are you somebody I want to spend time with? And if we've blocked an hour and at the end of 5 minutes, I say, well, thank you, that offends people. But the reality is, you should thank me for giving you 55 minutes of your life back. And I would expect the same. If you come onto a call with me and you say, I don't like you, Jeff, that's okay. I don't judge. I'm not for everyone. I'm an acquired taste. Either you love me or hate me. There's no middle ground. But the reality is, if we can't figure out why we're having the meeting, then we shouldn't have the meeting. So I will specifically say I don't attend a meeting with an agenda. And if somebody says, well, let's get to know each other, that's not an agenda. That tells me you don't value your time. You're not going to value mine. Let's not have it. And by the way, I recognize this is a default for 90% of the people networking out there. It's not my default. So don't be offended if I don't accept it. Now, having said that, there's alternatives. So, for example, actually, let me back up. The there's a universal law that says getting to know you meetings should be an hour. And for some reason, that's in person or online. The next type of meeting is the 15-minute meeting. And here's the thing, if somebody books a 15-minute meeting with me to get to know me, I know they're either a liar or they're unclear on what they do, because nobody is ever kept the 15-minute. And what offends me and ends the relationship is at the 15-minute mark, I say, okay, I have to go. And they say, oh, I just want to tell you one more thing, or I want to try to sell you something. You've broken trust with me and we're done. So here's the thing, if you're going to offer a 15-minute virtual coffee, great. But you need to have an agenda for it and you need to honor that time like it's sacred. Pretend you care about the other person's time. Anybody who goes over time without asking my permission, I know for a fact we're not going to work together because you don't respect me, you don't respect my time, and probably you don't respect your own time. So again, that's a little bit of a rant. I doesn't mean to come across that way because I want to offer a solution. So I have a couple of alternatives to that traditional first meeting where we get to know each other. And my favorite, and this might be a thing for introverts, I like asynchronous meetings. Basically, we exchange conversational pieces on LinkedIn or through chat. Tell me a little bit about who you are, who you serve, what you do. I'll tell you the same. Maybe we record short little videos saying, hey, nice to meet you. Here's what I do. But the thing is, it's asynchronous. We can both respond in our time. And so that frees up, why get on something for 15 minutes? Like I get the weirdest requests, people in countries I've never been to, countries I'll never visit, saying, oh, let's get on a call, do a one-to-one. And when I say no, they get offended and say, well, you have to. No, I don't. So I want the world to take up this charge. I'm passionate about it. I hate seeing energy wasted. So let's find alternatives. So my first one is asynchronous meetings. I love those because here's the thing, and this is the way I network. If I can figure out very quickly, you and I don't need to have a conversation, but I see that you need to meet one of my connections, I will make that connection happen and I don't need to be involved. So that's the thing. Respect how others network, respect how others approach things. You might get better results that way. And by the way, if somebody comes at me and says, you're going to introduce me to your network, I can tell you right now, no, I'm not. If you come at me and say, hey, I'd like to add some value to community, can we chat and see how we can do that? All day long, I got time for that. But as I said, it's got to have an agenda, no random meetings, please. Okay, so that's asynchronous. The next is online networking groups. I run a bunch of groups on LinkedIn. And if somebody's a good fit for me, I invite them to the group, get them to introduce themselves. Again, I created the groups to serve. And what I love about a LinkedIn group is it doesn't take my time or energy. So if I like you and I bring you into my group, I'm basically saying to you, reach out to people. Now, full disclosure, if you're inappropriate with them, I will remove you from the group in a heartbeat. This is my community. I nurture it and I watch over it very carefully. Consider me the shepherd, and I don't mind using that little shepherd's hook. If a predator gets in, I will make sure they're removed. So that's my second secret. My third, and this is probably one of my favorites, is I host a weekly open house. It's kind of a virtual coffee meets virtual lunch. And basically, it's an open house where people can come in and get to know me and get to know my community. And I will tell you this, if you're new to networking, if you don't like my community and you don't like me on that call, I don't get any better. I am exactly the person you meet. So if you don't like it, that's a good indication. And by the way, my calls are come and go as you please. So if somebody comes in, they don't like what they see, they can leave and nobody's wasted a lot of time. So those are my three favorite tips. Now, the advantages are really simple, and then I'll wrap this up. But when you do that initial one-to-one, 1 hour getting to know you meeting, and again, I don't know where that's written, but it seems like everybody follows it. When you do that, first of all, if it's in person, you're not just wasting the hour, you're wasting the time getting there and going home. So, best case scenario, you meet at a coffee shop 10 minutes from your house, you've still wasted an hour and 20 minutes of time if it's not a fit. Now, on Zoom, you're lucky you're only wasting the hour. Again, improvements in efficiency. But the reality is, if you find alternatives to that, hey, let's chat, you can find a lot more common ground. The other thing is, again, if you're going to ask to meet somebody, look at their LinkedIn profile and say, oh my God, Jeff, I see you do this. I'd love to learn more. I have somebody who needs that. Can we talk? I've got time for that. As opposed to, I saw your profile, looks amazing. Can we talk? No. So, by the way, this is the month of November. So I'm saying no to a lot of things in November. Now, the advantages with these three methods, number one, we save time. Number two, we're finding the right people and we're honing in on who we are and who we network with. So we're saving our one-to-one time for those meaningful conversations with people who need to get to know us. Now, a lot of people say, but Jeff, this is how relationships are built. Well, I will say this with complete 100% certainty. If somebody's a dentist in Southern Florida and they want to network with me in Canada, there is 0 point to that. I know for a fact I'm not going to fly down to Florida to get my teeth fixed. So at that point, if that was the case, I'm not going to waste either of our time on that call. So I get a lot of pushback, but the reality is the benefits far outweigh the time wasted of these alternate methods. If you take the time to learn them, the benefits are huge. Now, the other thing is, again, if you keep doing one-to-one networking, at some point you're going to be so busy networking, you don't have time to do your business. So if you're not in the business of doing deals, closing deals, fine, waste your time networking. But if you want to be successful, the shortest path is to start to guard your time. So thank you for letting me rant. When it comes to cash flow, people say, well, what does this have to do to cash flow? I can tell you sincerely, if you're one of those people who's networking at every event, literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner somewhere, and you're never going back, you're never following up, you're not building authentic relationships, your cash flow is going to reflect that. So whether it's you, the owner manager, doing the networking, or your team, I strongly encourage you to get really careful and think through how you network. And by the way, I will tell you this all day long, networking done well is the single greatest tool to grow a business. Thank you, and I look forward to your comments below. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we invite you to either click the link below or scan the QR code to register and listen to other episodes of our podcast. Or if you think your business or you would be a great guest to be on our show, we're always looking for experts in one of the 9 elements of holistic wellness. We'd love to have you. You can either click the link below or you can scan the QR code and complete our speaker intake form. Thank you, and to your wellness.